Hello everyone, last week I released a video, Agility Nerf Hammer, and I made perfectly clear that I'm using some simplifications. I was only looking at max, yaw, pitch and roll. I know acceleration is very important too, jerk is very important, but it gets a lot more complicated. I thought it's pretty much obvious. Just fly an Andromeda for a few seconds and then switch to Hercules C2 and tell me what ship with 8 times the mass of an Andromeda is way more agile. If you want to look at the whole story, you have to look at acceleration too. But yeah, it's getting very complicated. Here we have the SPAT tool, Ship Performance Analysis tool, of the fantastic YouTube channel Liz Legacy Fleet Instruction Series. Link is in my first pinned comment below. What can you do with this? You can compare ships. Let's say we are selecting a Gladius and an Arrow. Well, we have a lot of data, acceleration combined, forward, back, up, down, left, right, boost idle, rotation, velocity, pitch, yaw and roll. Maybe you have an idea now why I used this simplification in my previous video. And you have diagrams where you can see both ships combined. The farther out something is, the better it is. For example, acceleration forward, Arrow has a slight advantage. Acceleration back, they are identical. Acceleration up, Gladius has a slight advantage. Gladius blue, Arrow red. Of course, something like shields, Gladius has a huge advantage. You can actually see that both ships are quite similar in a few parameters. Arrow has an advantage, in others Gladius. And again, Arrow at only 60% of the mass of a Gladius isn't really better. I mean in a few parameters, but not in all, which doesn't make any sense at all. By the way, all this data is not coming out of calculations, it's not coming out of XML sheets. Those are real tests done by a legacy fleet. This is a lot of work and I really enjoy this tool. I talked to Whitesnake and asked him, what can I do? I cannot make a video talking about all those values. This just wouldn't work. And he told me, maybe I can just use acceleration combined as a parameter and still show max, yaw, pitch and roll. And I thought, okay, I can do this, but keep in mind, this is still a simplification. As you can see in the diagram, in some agility parameters, Arrow has an advantage and others Gladius. Still, I think this gives a much better picture. So here we go. I have now a new column, acceleration combined, data from legacy fleet, and this is still nowhere close to perfect. We have 10 stats just about acceleration. If you really want to compare two ships, I suggest you are using Legacy's Fleet SPAT tool. Here we have Scorpius in blue, Hurricane in red, and you can see in what parameters Scorpius is superior and in what parameters Hurricane is superior. And even this tool doesn't tell you the whole story. This is no critique to Legacy Fleet. This is a lot of work and this tool is really fantastic. But what about cockpit view? What about how many MFDs do you have in the cockpit? What about turret? Does the turret gunner have MFDs? Does the turret gunner have radar? In Hurricane, yes. In Scorpius, no. What about cross-section? Hurricane has a very small cross-section compared to Scorpius. And if you are losing your wings in the Scorpius, you are also losing your gun. I guess you really have to look into detail if you just want to compare two ships. And this is not what I wanted to do with my video. Okay, let's sort this data by acceleration combined. And again, I'm saying this now, I think the third time. This is still not perfect data. I thought I should maybe multiply this score by this score, have a new column. Then I thought, no, this is still not precise enough. So what can we see? Arrow is still nowhere as agile as Gladius. Yes, in some stats, Arrow wins, but overall, Gladius is still more agile. and Arrow has only 60% of the mass of the Gladius. Yeah, this is bad. Ion seems to be too agile. Okay, this is interesting. And Buccaneer, way too sluggish. Cutlass Black, interestingly, seems to be quite okay now, if we are just looking at this combined acceleration score. Gladiator, way too sluggish for only 88 tons. And again, Mercury Star Runner, Hercules C2, way too agile for their mass. Freelancer, yeah, too sluggish. Andromeda, too sluggish. Valkyrie, too sluggish. Caterpillar, a bit too sluggish. And 890 Champ, way too agile for her mass of 44,237 tons. And again, my conclusion, as always, this game is an alpha and has a long way to go. There will be a lot more balancing in the years to come. Star Citizen is not a simulation, but a game with game rules. But in his recent chairman letter, Chris called this game again a simulation. I am not looking for another Kerbal. Having some leeway in a game to make it more fun is perfectly fine. However, why have stats like mass when they have no meaning in your game and are just a number? A ship is as agile or sluggish as CRG wants it to be. When it comes to agility, mass should be the major factor. Shape is important too. If for lore reasons a certain manufacturer Crusader makes better thrusters, fine, make those ships have a 10% advantage, but not make those ships like having no mass. Yeah, this is strange. Using agility to balance ships is perfectly fine. However, totally ignoring mass isn't a good idea. Let's say Andromeda has a lot of guns, let's make her sluggish would be fine, but CHG is totally ignoring her mass. She has 4 size 5 gun mounts, you can put 2 size 5 guns on top and 2 size 4 guns on the bottom. Yeah, but it's just silly to make her sluggish because she has a lot of guns. Maybe you should think in advance what you want to do with a ship that has so many guns. I am not saying CHG should calculate agility strictly by mass, then massive ships would be very sluggish. A ship 8 times the mass of another ship should never be as agile or even more agile. Yeah, for example, Andromeda and Hercules. I hope you see now how complicated the whole matter of agility is. Let me know what you think in the comments below and see you next time. Bye. Auf Wiedersehen. Yeah, you can glitch through those things even though there shouldn't be enough room. Okay, we have a player in front of us. Usually I don't do this. Have you seen this? This was mean. Hey, you're still here. You might want to join me on Twitter. My Twitter account is Camural_SC.